Good afternoon and welcome to the Empower Plant the Empower Hour hosted by Face6 Brooks, the Empower Plant. I'm Kimmy Hogan. I am your host today, filling in for the lovely Dana Brooks. Let me introduce you to our esteemed panel member, Kia Thomas. She and I are holding down the fort today on the Face6 Brooks end, and we are delighted to talk with our guest, Dudley Paul Etienne, who is a rock star engineer. I studied French.
You said, you know what? Yes, and you said my last name perfect.
Thank you. Bien sûr. I'm not good at the French anymore, but anyways, thank you so much for being with us, Dudley.
Thank you for having me. Like I said before, I'm honored to be a guest with you guys. I love what you guys stand for, and that's something that I've always stand for. And this is why I've always gotten involved in organizations that dealt with a lot of women in construction, like NAWIC, National Association of Women in Construction, and NABWIC, National Association of Black Women in Construction. So, this is up my alley, and I was more than honored when Kia reached out to me and Greg took it to finish it through.
I love it. Well, let's start by having you tell everybody what you do. And then I want to get into your background, your life story, how you got here and all that.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, I know, right? Well, like Kimmy mentioned, my name is Dudley Etienne Harvard, or Paul Etienne, whichever one. And what the services that we provide, my background is construction engineering. Prior to starting my business, I was a project engineer, and we focused a lot on healthcare and also education. And then during the recession in 2009, they did a whole bunch of laying off in construction, which everyone's pretty familiar with. And then I started my business in 2010. And the services that we provide is community outreach, construction administrative support, technical, project control, and permit services. And more than 80% of about 80% of our clients are contractors, developers, architects, and engineers. That's my background. I understand the scheduling, so they always bring me on board. And then the other 20% is small businesses. And so that's kind of a swift of the services that we provide. Now, my history, when I first went to college, which is Florida A&M University, I first majored in architecture for 2 years because I love to draw. And I realized, well, architecture is not about if you love to draw, it's all about, if you're going to stay up every night and work on these sketches while all your friends are out there having a good time. And I realized it wasn't a passion of mine, but I was afraid to switch over to another major. And to be honest, I had no clue what else I wanted to do. And a friend of mine who had a construction company, I went on site to one of his projects, and I said, this is what I want to do. I want to build. And I remember calling the guidance counselor, meet up with the guidance counselor at the Construction Engineering Technology building. And the first thing he said, you're going to make a lot of money if you come to this field. Look, early 20s, that's all you had to say. And when I went in there, it became more than just about the money. After a while, it was more like, wow, I could really create my, have my own construction company. Because back in at Florida A&M, I wanted to graduate and open up a masonry company. Yeah, that was the goal. And instead, I graduated, worked in construction. I worked with a lot of great companies. Fortune 500s, great companies, great people. And my focus, like I mentioned before, was healthcare and also education. And after I was laid off, I moved back to South Florida. And when I moved back to South Florida, I remember I had a resume in hand, and I was going to Turner Construction for an interview. No, well, I was going to drop off my resume in hopes I get a job. And I ran into their communication manager in the elevator. And she asked who I was, and we spoke. She said, and I told her, I'm dropping my resume off. She said, no, I have something better for you. No, she said, come with me. That's what she said, come with me. So we ended up going to a NAWIC event. First time ever hearing about a NAWIC event. She brought me in this room and she just threw me out in the woods. And she introduced me, and all I seen was professional women of different backgrounds. Women who had soil engineering business, women who had painting business and so forth. So to me at that time, there wasn't a lot of women in construction.
Right.
And for me to see these women with professions that I usually see men in, it was extremely impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I said, this is the crowd I need to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And I stuck with these ladies. We've been, oh my God, I know half these ladies for over 12 years. Dang, I told my age, but I wasn't trying to do that. And and I built the relationship, and from there, companies within the construction industry, developers, so forth, they call me for all their needs as far as administrative support.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
So your company, a construction company, comes to you and says, hey, we're building this project. We just want to build. You handle all the other stuff. Basically.
Yep. That's me. I handle the other stuff, and because I'm familiar with the scheduling, I'm familiar with the Davis-Bacon Act and so forth, they trust I get that part of the business done for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a bunch of questions for you, but I don't want to steal all the time if you're burning to say anything.
Go ahead. I'll jump in there. Of course, Dud, as I call her, we've known each other for a long time.
Longer than 12.
Oh my goodness. We're not going to tell our age. We're not going to do it. But I just kind of want to jump in there and say, you work on, I know for a fact, a lot of large scale projects, right? And anytime you're working on things like that, because of course we in here work on, in our eyes, large scale projects, because we are dealing with people and what they're going through, their emotions and all of that. So what are some of your time management strategies that you utilize in order to ensure that these companies continue to keep coming back to you to choose you for these projects?
See, what I do, I don't take in all clients. I focus on quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I say that is because some clients, they'll come in, how can I say it? I choose the clients where it makes sense for the business, as far as not just only financially, but it makes sense for us as far as long term.
And that's hard for business owners sometimes to kind of separate that a lot of times.
It is, because when I first started, I was taking in all clients within my, within the industry. And then I'll have clients where, they'll give me short-term projects here and there. Then I was also their counselor, and I don't have time, some things you just don't have time for, because
right.
You have, you're losing time over here and there. So after a few years in business, I made a conscious decision that, you know what, I have to focus on the quality over quantity, because I was burnt out. I was burnt out, and I wasn't charging as much, so I could not really hire the personnel that I needed to hire at the time. So what I did quality over quantity. And then what I did was, with those clients that I have, I make sure I give them the best work. Although my scope of work might say this, I might go a little extra mile. People have to understand, as a business owner, because they have this thing where people say today's prices are not yesterday's prices. We understand that, but at the same time, what are you giving a bit more? What, are you giving a little more? Because when that client sees that, they hold on to you longer. And when it comes down to negotiation, your contract could be bigger than what it is now. I have a client, they've been my client for over 7 years. And when I was pregnant with my daughter, they actually waited until I had her to start a project.
And those are those loyalty,
that's
those
the loyalty clients. So
those are those ones that actually start referring you more. And I get what you're saying about the quality over quantity. That's great.
And that's down to it, huh?
It speaks volumes that they were like, we're just gonna wait. We're gonna wait till Dad is ready because we don't trust anybody else.
No one, you know, it's crazy.
Whole maternity leave.
Look, and you guys you guys would love this. She was actually their counsel as well too.
Oh, I love
Wow.
He was like, no, we'll wait. So you know, it's a lot to have you guys trust anybody.
Yes. For
So she's
attorneys,
like, no.
that is hard.
Yeah, so they waited, and those are the clients where, you know, I give them a little extra.
Yeah.
And those are the clients when, you know, holidays or a birthday come around, I think of them.
Yeah.
You know, or they share anything outside of work with me, you know, I'm there for them. You know, sometimes you want to still keep it professional, but as a professional, you can still be human.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I've got a couple of paths that I want to go down with you. One thing, you mentioned how you wanted to be an architect. And then 2 years in, you said, oh, I don't want to stay up all night drawing. This is not what I thought it was. And you had to have the courage to say, you know what, those 2 years, that was a sunk cost. I've got to reposition so that I can get on track. I think that takes a lot of courage. And I relate to that because when I got my degree in economics because I thought,
wow,
I love economics, and I was a big math person. Math was always really satisfying to me to do. And so I got my 1-year master's in economics, and halfway through that program, I realized what economists do is sit at a computer and they put data in and they run regressions and they clean the data. And that was just not my personality. I liked people, talking with people.
Right.
But at that point, I was so far in and I was like, what am I doing? But thankfully, my dad said, Kimmy, just change paths. Just go to law school. Like it's okay. It's the rest of your life. It's okay that maybe you didn't do it as quickly as you otherwise could have done. But I think I just really related to that. And I bet you're so glad that you changed paths.
Oh God, am I? I am thrilled. There was no way I could have done another 3 years in architecture. This is a 5-year program, 4 years undergrad, and then 1 year intern, and that was mandatory. And for me, because see, my parents I'm from the Caribbean. We're from Haiti, and with Haitians, there are only certain jobs they love for you to have. So for me to switch over from architecture in construction, yeah, they heard the engineering part, but they heard the construction. They were like, what are you doing? So it was one of the things where, should I stay or should I go? But they absolutely love it. It's just like it went over their head. Like, okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What has it been like being a minority in the business?
Oh, wow. You know, the thing is, being a minority in the business is actually two whammies. I'm a woman and I'm a Black woman at that, right? So I want to backtrack. I remember when I was a project engineer, and my superintendent, he never worked with women before on site, as far as she's being a project engineer or project manager. And I'll never forget, he said, Dudley, I don't know, but how much tissue do you want in the bathroom? I don't know. And, you know, I smirked, and I was like, oh, wow. He said, I've never worked with a woman. It was like a couple of weeks in the project. He said, I'm just trying. And that was one incident. Another incident happened when I was doing a project walkthrough, and I had one of the workers. He said to me, hey, what's you, the secretary? Because he's the CD come a lot. He said, you the secretary? I said, no, I'm a project engineer. And, you know, that kind of upset me. So what I told him, the baseboard's not done correctly. I want you to redo the whole thing. And he looked at me like, what? So that's my experience in construction. Mm-hmm. And being in my business, I started young. And so it was a lot of, she's young. And then it was a whole lot of, we're not sure if she's experienced enough. Mm-hmm. Experienced enough, and you know, sometimes when you have the men that, you know, the men when they come in, they act like you're not in the room. They'll have conversations, and then you just sit there. You'll have your points, and it's one of them things like, oh, you're blocked out.
Yeah.
I remember I'll get in meetings where I felt as if I had to come in there and demand the room because of that. But then it came to the point where I said, you know what? I don't have to do that anymore. When it, you know, I know my experience, I know what I know. So when a question or anything comes to me, when I open my mouth, they're like, oh, she knows more than we think she knows.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that's my experience with that. But I tend to, although I know I am a woman and I'm Black within this industry, I tend to not let that be the front of it, as if this is who I am. And because when you tend to do that, then you call people to see that as well. And then you think you have to come into a room and try to own it.
Mm-hmm.
I come in as I'm Dudley, I'm experienced, and this is what I bring to the table.
Yep. And clearly that's working for you.
Yeah. Oh, big time. I look, absolutely love it. I
So
love what I do.
You have 2 locations, right?
Yes.
So where
we have a location in North Miami, Florida, and we also have a location in Atlanta, Georgia, in Peachtree. And if you want, actually we have 3. We have a location in Fort Lauderdale too.
Oh,
that's pretty small. So we're our things, because we have a lot of projects in Broward and Miami. Mm-hmm. So we make sure that we keep a spot, we keep a location there. And Atlanta is someplace that, we're still dabbling, trying to get bigger work there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. What have you been seeing in the construction industry? I know things have just been crazy over the last couple of years with scarcity of resources and then prices going through the roof. Will you tell us a little bit about what you've been seeing?
You know what's crazy about that? Prices are insane as far as materials. But what's even more scarier is a lot of these contractors are so busy. Somebody's paying someone these prices to build. So a lot of them are busy. And one thing that I've realized is we don't have a lot of quality contracts like we did before. A lot of them went out of business because when they were in business, they were giving prices through favors, those type of prices, or because of relationships. So they didn't make it to 2 years during COVID. So what I'm seeing a lot of, because I need a quote for a commercial spot. I'm seeing a lot of busy contractors, and the ones that are semi-available, they're not professional, and they're not following through. Mm-hmm. So, and prices are still jumping up. So it's one of them things where if you work with good contractors, continue that relationship, and just keep them on board, keep them going, keep them busy. And that's what I've been seeing. And also people are still buying. People are still buying.
I know it seems like maybe it's starting to slow down a little bit. At least that's what I hear, but I don't know.
I think it's slow. Well, no, it's slowing down in residential. Mm-hmm. As far as commercial, that's not really slowing down. I just seen some information that someone just purchased a $291 million commercial lot in Miami Gardens, or a company. I think they did a joint venture. So commercial is not slowing down. It's more, because remember that commercial we're accustomed to the 7-8%. Mm-hmm. That's not something new. So residential is slowing down.
Oh, okay. So the 7 to 8% hasn't been changing for the construction.
Not really. People had loans, because those are like probably the 7 to 8% are like the hard money loans and so forth. Mm-hmm. So they're accustomed to that. Yeah. So it's one of them things where they got it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I bet too, those big companies during COVID, when everyone was worried and maybe not buying during that time, they were able to sweep in and scoop things up.
And I'll tell you that during COVID, because my husband and I, we flipped properties. We were renovating a property in Central Florida during COVID, and the crazy part is we had people reaching out to us wanting to purchase the home. They were willing to come in. I mean, they're like, what we need to do? Wear the mask, wear a suit, what we need to do?
Yeah.
So although they're saying people were not doing that, we had people come and do so. We weren't sure they were investors or what. But people were buying.
Yeah. So it's such an interesting time.
Very much,
That
very much.
Oh, Kia, what are you thinking about?
I think just keeping it on the same topic, but kind of flipping it, considering when we had an economist almost, Kimmy, and she also, and I know she's amazing in all the numbers, but she's also, she thinks about sustainability a lot, right? So I'm also thinking about with you as far as construction goes and being in constructional engineering and in the South where you are, again, flipping it. Are you seeing a lot of gentrification? Are you seeing to where, what's the impact? Like, what are those? I don't want to call it a negative impact because, of course, it is building up a community, but it's also putting that money that's unreachable for some people where they cannot afford to stay in those areas. And I know that you are a part of the sustainability as well. So what are some of the things that your business is doing in order to assist the community? Because I know that you're out there as far as, if you think about it, if they don't have a home, they're probably going to deal with some healthcare situations. They're going to deal with some the education, thing that will come and impede them. So what are some of the things that your company is doing? Because I know that you're deep rooted into the community, just like we are. So what are you doing to assist with that? I know that was loaded. I apologize.
No, it's all good. First of all, with gentrification, it only works if everyone's included.
Yes.
And so, I'm for gentrification. I'm not against it.
Right.
But everyone has to be included. And what I mean by everyone has to be included, if you're going to build within where I stay, 10 units cannot be just only affordable. And then the affordability of it is higher than, what the community is at, what they bring in every year. So it has to make sense. And one thing I do to play my part is when my clients hire our company to assist them with developers and prime contractors hire us to assist them on finding small businesses. When they say we can't really find small businesses, we can't find qualified or quality small businesses. My team and I, we take it old school. We don't just send emails, we make the phone calls. In our relationships that we already have with small businesses, we let them know. The reason for it, because these small businesses, they have families of their own. And and we play our part with that aspect. We make sure they are given opportunities on these projects, and they have say-so on these projects. And when we do our outreach, especially when we're doing job fairs, a lot of these companies will say, "Well, no one wants to work." My team and I, we do the dirty work to make sure we have these people know that, look, these companies are hiring, and they'll say, "Well, it's just construction work." We say, no, looking for project coordinators. We run it down to them because this is where you stay at. And you need, you get this job, you make enough money for your family so you can afford some of these affordable housing. So that's the role that we play. And also my husband and I, we flip properties. We make sure we do not charge our tenants on the homes that we keep over the top prices.
Right.
We understand property taxes are going up, but it's not going up that much. Right. So we make sure that, we keep prices affordable, but we still make the profit. So we start off on that level. So, and when we start to grow even more, that's our whole plan. We want to make real affordable housing on a higher level.
I love that. Talk to us a little more about flipping houses. How do you identify where you want to go to flip a house? What's a good house to flip? Give us some of your secret sauce.
Oh man, I have to charge y'all for this one.
Well, you're our business consultant. That's why we got you on.
Right. You know what I always tell people, don't follow the trend. What I mean by don't follow the trend, I remember there was a time where everybody was flipping pre-COVID. People were flipping properties in South Florida. The people who stay South Florida, like, we want to stay home. We want to stay home. And, want to flip in our backyard. But will it make sense for you financially? Why I say that? You could probably purchase one property, but there's a certain amount of loans that the bank will loan out to you, especially if you're not a mega. And so if you're a small person and you're purchasing 2 to 3 homes, that's 2 homes, that's all you could afford in South Florida, then now you're stuck and you're forced to have to sell one to make money, to be able to take out another loan for more property. So what we did, we go to areas that are very, like Central Florida areas outside of Orlando.
Yeah.
And we look for properties where, they're still developing. They're still developing. But one thing I do, I'm very government savvy. I always see what the city officials plan on doing in the near future. And if the city officials are saying, you know what, we're going to put money back into our community within the next 2 to 3 years. This is what our fiscal year consists of. So what we do, that's where we invest at. Because we know if we buy now while the homes are $50,000, $60,000, we know within 2 to 3 years we get all that way before then. And now that $50,000, $60,000 is worth over $100,000. So, yeah. So I kind of do a little more because everybody is following the trend, and because no one wants to really do the work. So if everybody's buying properties in Atlanta, everybody's going to Atlanta to buy property. But we tend to like to go to the little towns and purchase and see what their government official plans on doing. So we kind of tie those in together.
Yeah. I love that. My so I was born in Polk County in Winter Haven, Florida. And
so do you know Indian Lake and what's the place? Fort Meade?
Yeah, I know those areas. But my family, I saw a family down there, and they were saying Winter Haven is like one of the fastest growing cities in the state of Florida, and it's just booming. So it made me think of that. I was like, darn it, should have bought
No, it is. No, Winter Haven, from when we were out there flipping, it did a whole 360. I remember you could have gotten oh my God, a 3.2 for under $100,000. Yeah. Very nice. So now Winter Haven it's skyrocketed, but it's a very good community.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I love it down there. And all the lakes just
oh God, yes. Yeah, so it's all about doing a little bit of homework. When it comes to us, we do a little bit more homework. We don't follow a trend. When everybody goes left, we always go. When everybody goes right, we go left. That's the way we do it.
Yeah, I like it. I want to talk a little bit about young women in construction and engineering. And are you plugged into any organizations that are encouraging women to pursue those paths? And tell us about that.
Oh God, yes. I sat on a few panels and I spoke to I spoke within a lot of organizations that involve that. And I was also part of organizations that big on that, which is NAWIC and NABWIC, like I mentioned before. Yeah. And matter of fact, with NABWIC, we actually, my first year with them, we started a industry day up in Washington, D.C. Through we did it at a STEM Academy school. It's a private school in Washington, D.C. And what we did was we did blockouts where we had individuals within architecture, engineering, construction, and so forth. And we had them actually speak to the kids, and tell them this is what we do, and you can do this too, and so forth. So to this day, Industry Day is still going on. This was since 2010.
Nice.
And then locally we do at Dillard High School. Yeah. And as far as when it comes to the women with NABWIC and NAWIC, matter of fact, there's an organization called Gang Alternative, where we focus on women, making sure women get into non-traditional occupations. And we bring these individuals to speak with them as well too. They take them to the luncheons so they can see women within these or engineers, contractors, and so forth. So a lot of these young women are like, we didn't know women do this type of work. And we have to tell them, women do this type of work. You don't always, and women would come in with heels on. Like, I love to wear my heels. And, and women would come in with their pink hard hats. And these girls are looking like, we can do this? Yes, you can definitely do this. You can definitely do this. And matter of fact, a lot of men in construction love working with women in construction. They bring in the ideas. They for some reason they get the men in check. And so yeah,
like around here with Kimmy and them, they keep the men in check. That's great.
So it's one of them things where the girls are thrown and like, oh my God, I had no clue, and then and they still feel a little intimidated because in their eyes they're like, I mean, can I really do this? And it's one of them things where you have to remind them, look, you could get on board. You don't have to always do the outside work, but if that's what you want to do, superintendent work, go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. I think it's so important. Representation is so important. I think about growing up and seeing all those movies where there's a boardroom and it's always all men. And that was just like a normal thing that I saw in movies all the time. And I can realize now that subconsciously that said to me, that's not your place, right? And nowadays, the movies and the TV shows, they're so much more inclusive, but folks in our generation, kind of grew up with all of that. And I just think what you're doing is great. I'm a part of a nonprofit in Tallahassee called the Oasis Center for Women and Girls. And
Ooh.
They do a summer camp called Girls Can Do Anything Summer Camp, where they take girls around to different jobs. And they just happen to have women in all of those roles, like at the fire department, they make sure that there's the women that work there are there on that time when they come, and in these non-traditional female roles. And it's just awesome. Just awesome.
Love it. Oh man, I absolutely love stuff like this because a lot of times our young girls go into traditional careers, which is okay. Yeah. But and a lot of them do it because it's familiar, that's what they're familiar with. That's what their parents want. And that's where they know that, they don't have to, they will not feel intimidated. But, I always, even in my major, we only had like 5 girls. We have 5 girls. And by the time I graduated, only 3 of us stayed. And one of the girls who left, she only came in because her dad wanted her to get a degree in construction engineering because he had a construction company. So it was one of them things where, I understand, the intimidation, but once you graduate and you get into the field, still to this day, you're going to work a little harder because you're working with men that are not accustomed to women in construction. They say you are
to the restrooms.
Right. And if you are a woman in construction, you don't look like us, dressed up, make sure our hair is fit, heels. They're used, to the women being very hardcore. And so it's one of them things where we're still recruiting. We're still working on that every day. Matter of fact, my daughter just got accepted to a STEM program at an elementary school. And so, I'm not telling her to do STEM, but she's good at math. So, so the thing is one of them things where we got a long way to go. And I truly, truly believe STEM, construction, architecture need women in there. Men are doing a fantastic job, but women just bring a different flavor to stuff. And I just wish our young girls can, get that image from out their head that this is a man's it's dominant with men. That's what we're still working on.
And kind of like what Kimmy was saying in regards to representation, we had some of the girls from the Oasis Club or the Oasis Center come in here and walk around.
Wow.
There's about a good 20 of them. This was like last year sometime. Before they left, all of them were like, I want to be like Kimmy. I want to be like Carrie. I want to be like Dana. Before they walked in, they were intimidated. It was like, no, I will never do that. But by the time they left and they were talking to them, every single one of them were called, I want Kimmy's office. No, I want Dana's office.
They see us.
Yes,
they see us.
And then even from just another experience, like she said, representation really does matter. To hear my daughter when we were driving one day, she was like, Ma, I think I want my first job to be at Lowe's. And I'm driving them, well, why Lowe's? She was like, because I like putting things together. I like drawing. I want to learn how to do this.
Girl.
So like you guys say, representation really does matter. And we're starting to see that a lot more with our girls. They're not being quiet. They're not, you know, just taking that back seat of, but that has a lot to do with our generation, making sure our girls and boys know that the boys need to empower the girls to be able to do those jobs with them. Like, hey, you can do this with me too. So I totally agree with that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember telling men what I do for a living. They never understood it back in the days. It was like, huh? It was like, what? You mean a teacher, a nurse? What? What you what? No, this is what I do.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay. It goes over their head. Well, I guess she just sits in the office. We don't know.
So how do you balance the work life? Because Dudley, you have a plethora of businesses. So how do you make time for, and you know, some of our girls may even be looking at that and saying, well, if I want a family, how do I do that? How do I become that lawyer? Or how do I become that construction, you know, big time superintendent and all that other great stuff? How do you do it?
You know, before I had my daughter, I'm not gonna lie, work was over 50%. Work was over 50%. And my husband was, you know, what was left over, to be honest, right? Yeah. I grew up, you know, career minded. My whole focus was my career. And after having my daughter, I sat back and said, I remember being mentored by a woman. She was a superintendent with Turner Construction. And I remember sitting with her. She had 3 kids, and 3 or 2. Nancy, yeah. And I said, Nancy, how do you balance all this? And she said, honey, there's no balancing. Some days you do the family, and some days you do work. Just make it happen. And I was like, and it hit me. My daughter would have had to be like 7 or 8 months then, because I was searching. I was searching to see how can I make this work. And so what I do now is, you know, in my 20s, I worked very hard to get where I'm at now. And I told myself in my 30s, I don't have to work this hard. As long as I remain consistent and I continue to put in the work that I do, it was, you know, my work would show for itself. So I set boundaries in my 30s. Not in my 30s, I set some real boundaries. I never did it in my 20s.
Yeah.
Start at 9 o'clock, end at 5 o'clock. That's what I do. And then before 9 o'clock, I work on me. I wake up, pray, meditate, go to the garden, walk through the backyard, play with the dog. I focus on me. And of course, breakfast for the family. And then after 5, you know, it's back to family. We spend time with family. And, you know, it was real hard for me to do this back in the days when I set that schedule. But it was so hard because I love to work. Work was like my drive. Like it was everything to me. And so, and then on the weekends, I don't work on the weekends neither. I do not work on the weekends. And I made sure I hire a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, when you overwork because you don't have a team.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you have a team, you have to make a decision if you want to overwork or if you don't. Mm-hmm. And I got a team. I put in resources to help the business, and I don't mind getting sub-consultants to help us with other stuff as well, too. And so I just incorporated people to help me.
Right.
And so, like Miss Nancy used to tell me, there's no balance. Some days I'm working, and sometimes I have events I have to go to after 5. You know, I attend those, but it balances out because majority of the time my work schedule is from 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. And I don't do social media notifications. I have no social media notifications. So if I respond, it's because I'm currently on social media.
Mm-hmm. You're not getting constantly distracted and pulled out of either work or family time.
Nah, I don't get none of that notification. So sometimes I might not even never respond back because I'll come back a couple of days later and I just can't go through the notifications. So I don't do no social media notifications. I don't do, even my text messages doesn't have any sound.
But that's where you need your team, your marketing and your PR team.
Say what?
That's where you need your team, your marketing and your PR team.
What, to take care of that?
Take care of all of those notifications for you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because then, then they'll come to me and bring it up to me, and then I get involved, and there I go. I lost a whole hour.
There you go.
But you're right, though. You're right. Yeah, I do that with the business Instagram, but you're right. You're right. I just turn it off on my own, but it keeps me from, no lie. You get a lot of anxiety. You're on there. It's more of a, like, you think you have to get on there. So I just do it more for, peace of mind.
I love that. I love that boundary that you're creating. Like, I'm available. You can notify me till this time of day. And then at this time, it's my time. So if I want to check my messages, if I want to be contacted, I'll look at my phone. But otherwise, I'm here and I'm present.
I had to, because there's a certain way I want to raise my daughter. And this is, and for me to do that, I have to give her my attention. And, and I want to be a certain wife. A lot of times as a businesswoman, we don't speak of this. I want to be a certain wife. And if I keep doing this, he won't get a certain, get a certain attention from me as well, too. So I always say, with women, when we're single, we could take over the world. Married, we could take over the world. But I always tell women, if you are, to be honest, I think marriage and a child just fell on my lap. So, but women who are seeking this, I got to keep it real, right?
Right.
But women who are seeking this, you got to have boundaries for yourself so that you can make time for other stuff. But that's my tea.
So you were fully work minded. You weren't trying to get married. You weren't trying to have a child. You were trying to build a business.
4 jobs in college.
I was trying to build it. Yes. Oh my God, you remembered. And yes. Oh my God, you remembered?
Yes. Although all of us were like in different majors, we all met in an organization.
We did.
So there would be times where we would meet for like study sessions. And Dud, as we called her, she would walk in the study session at like 4 a.m. and be like, I got to go back to work at 6. And we're like, what job? You just left another job.
Oh my God, can you remember? Look, I did an intern. I helped build FAMU's first rec center. Wow. That was a 3-year intern. I worked a day job I was working for day labor. I was paying the laborers. And then during the summer breaks and any breaks, I was doing internships with other companies.
And I was bringing her food to the day labor place. Like, I know you didn't eat last night, so I'm bringing you this. She's like, oh my God, thank you. I was like, listen, all I had was the $5 extra, so I got you some Wendy's from across the street.
Look, can you remember? Oh God, I remember going to work with my superintendent say, look, I don't know what you do during the day. If it's not only just school. That was my internship. He said, you need to make a decision with what you're going to quit, because you are falling asleep on site. I was falling asleep on site. But I was driven. I was focused, but I did good in class. But I was just focused. Oh God, I can't run like that anymore, you guys.
That's why you got to burn it out in your 20s.
Right? Burn it out in your 20s. That's what I did. Oh, okay, you got memory as an elephant, kid.
So do you have, Kia, I thought you said she has many businesses. Do you have more businesses besides Dudley's Professional Services?
Well, we Dudley Professional Services. We also, me and my husband, we do real estate.
Okay.
And also, we do real estate. Look, I have to count because we also have a nonprofit, which is called Dory Cares, where when I make time, I will focus on this some more. My daughter's name is Dorian, so it's called Dory Cares. And what we do there, we help mothers find holistic ways to, holistic medicines to give their child or just to heal their kids, because that helped us a lot with Dorian, if she had like a cough or something like that. So we want to teach parents how to go more the holistic way instead of going straight to the hospital or using medication. Right? And so that's just what we do. I actually have 3 businesses. I actually have that I'm working on right now.
The 4 jobs
I can't think of. I only actually have 3 of them.
All the 4 jobs are coming back full circle.
I love it.
All right, yeah, all the 4 jobs are coming back full circle. But that's what I do. I love construction. I love building. And I love construction. I love approaching situations in a holistic way. So I do everything that I'm compassionate about so that I can keep going.
So give me some holistic health advice. I know, disclaimer, talk to your doctors before following this advice.
For you as an adult or child?
Oh, well, if you've got adult recommendations, I'll take them.
Well, it all depends. One thing, I say when you get a headache, instead of taking like an Advil or something, it's two things you can do. You can either drink moringa tea, and it'll go away gradually, or you can take peppermint oil and put them in your temples, lay down for a while, close your eyes, and sit there for like 15 to 20 minutes, and that headache will go away.
Wow.
Remember now, when you get a headache, it's because your hormones is unbalanced.
Yeah.
And for some reason, probably was something you was overthinking about, or probably you forgot to eat lunch, so your body just went whack for a slight second, and it started a headache.
Yeah.
So you use those two things, they just rebalance it right back.
What is moringa tea?
Oh God, I have a whole tree at my house. Moringa it's green leaves. It grows. The tree grows pretty big, and what you do is I have to probably send you a picture of it. It's a tree, and you take the leaves, you boil them. Well, you boil some water. Take that water, pour it over the leaves, let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes covered, and it'll turn green. And you drink that. Put a little bit of honey, you're fine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What about, give me some tips I have a 3 and a 6-year-old. We've got runny noses all the time.
I got you on that one. My daughter, every time the season changes, she gets a cold. So if I don't remember 2 weeks prior to the season change, I have to boost her immune system or she'll get that cold. This is what I do. When they have running noses like that, let's say running nose, sore throat, as soon as they come and say, Mom, my throat hurt, they're running nose, take them a shower in warm water, rub some Vicks on their chest, take some onion, put it under their feet, put the socks on, and have them go to bed a little early. They'll wake up. Running nose will decrease, and over time it'll go away. Quicker than before.
Do that to us.
Huh?
My grandmother used to.
Yeah.
I think I moved away from it because I didn't like
come back. And with that sore throat, some warm water, honey, and lime. Put it together, shake it up, and have them drink that.
Wow.
My great grandma was huge into Vicks. If I smell Vicks, it just brings me right back. And I've always heard about the onion thing. I have never done it. I've always been a huge skeptic.
It works. It works. I'm gonna have to agree. I got away from it because I'm like, onions. I like eating them, but I don't want to just smell them on my body.
No, my daughter, she even asked for it. She said, Mom, put the onion. I want it to work now.
So do you like cut it and then just put like one of the rings in like a sock or something?
I cut it.
Uh-huh.
I cut it and I cut that ring. I take a piece of that, put on one foot and the other foot. I put socks on that's real tight and let her go to bed.
Oh, wow.
And what that onion does, remember, onions is antibacterial. It's an antibacterial type of medicine. What it does, it goes through the body, just suck up the bacteria and toxic, and it makes them feel better. Like she sleeps like a baby throughout the night when I do that.
So on just another note for women, like, as you were saying, women empowerment, what are some things or one thing that you would give us for free dealing with women in our bodies? Like, what should we do? Facials or whatever it is, just a little quick empowerment tip.
This is what I would say. You can get as much facials as you want. You can do your nails, do your hair, whatever. But as women, I was stressed. I can't stress this enough because my hormones went off whack after my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of your body internally. Women hormones currently are under attack. Yeah. It's the food, it's the lifestyle. We know as women, now we're doing more. Some people might not like what I'm about to say, but as women, our bodies were made to do light work, be home. We had a task, but as time go on, now we're doing work that are just as equal as men. Mm-hmm. So we have to take some time to tap into our feminine side as often as possible. As often as possible. If you stay away from the work, cook, dance around the house, do your hair, do stuff that women would do, soft stuff, because then your hormones is under attack. And our hormones, because of that, we have a lot of hormone issues. So if you're going to take care of your outer appearance, make sure you're internal. Every morning, me, I have a schedule. Every morning I drink tea, I juice, and drink tea, I juice, eat a good breakfast, and then in the afternoon, I eat my heaviest, and then after 6, I have my dinner and I have a cutoff.
What is that tea and juice that you drink? Because you look good, so what is it?
Oh, girl, I don't think nobody's gonna drink it. It's turnips, turmeric, parsley, and carrots.
Is that good?
You get used to it.
Okay.
You get used to it, but I do that twice a day. I do it in the morning. I do 2 big bottles. I drink one in the morning. I drink one in the afternoon.
Should Kimmy and I just do it like a shot real quick? And are we gonna make
you won't get the full benefit because turnips have the most minerals and vitamins. So that you want to make sure you drink that full cup. It has all the vitamins. Think of it. It has everything that you need. So I do my tea in the morning to help rebalance my hormone, keep my hormones checked for the whole day. And then I do my juicing and I eat a very a good breakfast. And then my heaviest from 1 to 5. I can eat what I want and, still eat good. I say 80-20, I have an 80-20 rule.
I love it.
Yeah,
I don't do it as often as I should because cleaning out the juicer is kind of a pain in the
it is.
It is.
We do ours and I do beets and heavy ginger and lemon.
Yes, I used to.
I
used to do that. I used to do the beets and the ginger, but this right here, for some reason, it keeps it gives me more energy and I'm super alert. Extremely alert after drinking that.
Okay, then Kimmy doesn't need to drink that because she's
already alert. But it's the beets and the ginger. It's the beets and the ginger.
And she's always alert. She doesn't need the extra. So Kimmy, you're good. Stay with the beets.
I'm about to level it up. I'm about to do turnips. We're gonna call it the Dudley drink. The Dud.
Yeah, call it Dudley drink.
That's what we're gonna call it, the Dud.
Call it Dud drink. I'm telling you, it works your whole body because we gotta make sure we're good inside because the food that we're consuming and the stress that we're consuming, it's attacking our hormones.
Yeah.
And then a lot of weird stuff are happening to women.
Yeah.
So I will tell women, I don't care how busy you are, I don't care how professional you are, I don't care if you're a housewife, take care of your body, internally. Take care of your body because when you hit, I guess, 40 and 50, you want to make sure this body could, stay running for you.
Absolutely. Well, Dudley, we are coming towards the end of our hour, so I wanted to kind of do a little summarizing, give you a few minutes to talk about whatever you'd like to talk about.
Yeah, I would love to give you guys my Instagram handle. Yes. On there, I share upcoming projects in South Florida and opportunities in South Florida. And also I share, what's going on. If it's not an opportunity, something that can help your business. I don't share information that's not going to help your business because I know we wear millions of hats, small businesses, and we just need to know where is the money and where can I, get the help for my business. So my Instagram handle is D as in David, P as in Peter, _ services is plural. So I'm always posting information on what's going on in South Florida. Tune in, come in, and also that's about it.
I love it. Kia, any final thoughts?
Thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. I think my biggest question that I have is, what advice would you give to that young girl or boy that's coming into this field that you may have met as a roadblock and got through it?
what you learn in school is not what's happening on site. So, so don't come in there thinking because you made great grades in school within, structural engineering, whatever engineering that you decide you studied, you got a degree in. Do not go into your work or on the field thinking that you know it all and you can incorporate that. You have people on site that have been in construction for over 10, 20 years. And they know the loops. They know when things happen, this is what you need to do. Go in there, learn. Do not be intimidated to ask questions. I'm going back off of the things I went through. Do not be afraid to ask questions. Get you a mentor. Get you a mentor. Did I say get a mentor? Get a mentor, and and get a mentor, and just pour yourself into this mentor. They want to help. If they want to help, let them know. Say, look, I'm struggling. I'm on this project. They want me to do something that I'm not comfortable doing. And the reason why you're not comfortable because you're not comfortable with giving orders, or you're not comfortable, saying, hey, look, these shop drawings look good. It's a go.
Mm-hmm.
Speak to them. Speak to your superintendent, your project manager, whoever you're, the person that's on top of you. Let them know what you're comfortable with because of your lack of knowing.
Yeah.
So, I always say, don't come in there thinking you know it all, and don't go in there when you're negotiating. If you haven't done any internships, they're offering you $70,000 and you're thinking about inflation going up, but you did no internships. You have no experience.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to take it for what it is. Mm-hmm. But if you have done internships, don't go in there cocky, say, I did internships. I need more than that. They do give you a bit more when you go on site. What you learn and what you have to do is totally different than an intern. They hold interns' hands.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that's what I would say.
And this is my last thing before we jump it over to Kimmy. I just want to say you're welcome for me giving you your first job when you and Bahati fixed the hole in the wall after the party at my apartment. So thank you so much. You're welcome. I'm glad I could help.
Hey, disclaimer. Disclaimer.
And they literally fixed the hole, and it looked like the exact wall. They were like, disclaimer. First job, and I was like, oh
my God, we did. You know what? That opened up a can of worms, but we ended up fixing some more holes.
Yes, they came
after parties. Oh, did I say that?
Everything. I was like, guys, all I got is 20. They were like, that's fine. That's gas and some food.
That's gas and food right there. That's a whole meal from the dollar menu. That's $10 for gas.
I'm glad I could catapult you into this great career that you have now.
Well, thank you so much, Kia. Thank you so much. I've known Kia for so long, and we both was part of an organization together. And so, it's just look 360. We always remain in contact, whether it's through social media or whatever. It's just always a pleasure when Kia called me for anything. Oh, I'm honored.
Oh.
Yeah,
well, Dudley, thank you so much. It's just been a pleasure talking with you and getting insight into your world and everything else. I really appreciate it. Get a mentor. And thanks so much. We look forward to staying in touch, and follow Dudley at DP_services plural on Instagram.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. It's been another wonderful episode of the Empower Hour. I hope everyone has a great week.